Greetings and welcome back to another ghoulish and greenish episode of the Vodkast. I'm your host, as always, Geycen Oliveira. Today, I wanted to, do something a little different. So I wanted to sort and count all my kids' candy from Halloween last night. So there was two bags. I don't know whose was which, to be completely honest, but one of them was definitely heavier than the other. And I wanted to share with you some statistics, some numbers that shocked me, some that just tore me to the core. I couldn't believe it. There were some items on here that I was very surprised to find very few of, and some that I was very surprised to find many of. So in no particular order, let's go down these. Oh, and by the way, you won't actually get to see the counting of this, unfortunately. It took me 17 minutes and 40 seconds. I ran a stopwatch when I did it. Thought I was filming, didn't even have the camera on, so we didn't get that footage. But nonetheless, here we go. Kit Kats. Bag number 1 had 10, while bag number 2 had 11. Now, this does not account for what may have been eaten along the trick-or-treating on Halloween itself, or coming home, or what's already been consumed by them. There were a lot of wrappers in one of the bags, so I'm assuming that that's accountability of what's been eaten from that bag. I did not include that, though. In the second bag, I think there was very few wrappers in it, so either they actually just threw them on the ground, which I hope they didn't, or whatever. Anywho, Hershey's chocolate bar, 7 to 5, bag 1 to bag 2. I'm just going to go down the numbers here. Reese's peanut butter cup, 7 to 7. Snickers. This is now one of these kids, I think, must have come up to a house that had like a bucket and they just grabbed stuff, because the numbers are skewed here. There are 10 Snickers in one bag, but 16 Snickers in another bag. Something's not right there. Something's fishy. Twix, 4 to 4. Milky Way, 5 to 5. Three Musketeers, 1 to 3. Interesting. Now, the numbers that I find interesting, too, is the amount of Snickers versus the amount of, like, Twix, the amount of Kit Kats versus the amount of peanut butter cups. Like, I really thought, ultimately, when I started assembling this list, peanut butter cup would be on the top, maybe Snickers, one of those, but you'll be surprised where this goes. Stick with us. Okay, where were we? Three Musketeers, 1 to 3. Butterfinger, 1 to nothing. Why has no one given away Butterfingers? They're delicious. Maybe they're more expensive than the other ones. I have no idea. Hershey's Cookies and Cream, 1 to 3. Cheese Balls, everybody's favorite Halloween treat, 1 to 1. Smarties, 4 to 7. Sour smog balls. I added that one in there just because I really like the sound of it. It sounds funny. Smog balls. Smoggy balls. Anywho. Lollies. That's what some of you may refer to as lollipops. This was a mind blower right here. 10 to 17. So right there you got an accumulation of 27. You see where this is going, right? I think, in my opinion, the reason why there are so many lollies, and most of them are the dum-dums, is because they're really cheap to buy a giant bag of them, and you can hand out handfuls and feel like, unaltruistic about giving away candy to these poor kids that spent all night getting ready to get dressed up, and probably some teenagers that, just threw a hat on and said, hey, give me some candy. This is my last year. I'm not putting any effort into this. Okay, where were we? Airheads 2-2, Sweet Tarts 1-0, Bubblegum 1-4, Sour Patch Kids 4-4, Rolos 4-5, Starburst 3-6, Skittles 4-6. Maybe one of these kids did another round. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe one of them was taking their time. I know there was a haunted house that someone set up in their house. It's a little creepy. Would you just go into someone's random? I guess on Halloween, I said this last night. Everything just goes out the window. Laws do. You can walk around with a beer. No one's gonna say anything. Maybe they would. I walked by a cop. I had a hard cider on me. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking. We were looking for a gnome. We were missing a gnome about this big. He's got a beard, big white beard, red hat. Well, eventually he found himself back to home, but he had gone missing for a little bit. So, yeah. Moving on, M&M's 3-2. That was a statistic that I found very interesting as well. Not a lot of M&M's this year. I felt like that was pretty much a staple. I figured that would be up there in the top 5 at least, but I don't think it's anywhere near it. We'll figure out at the end. Swedish Fish 2-3. Toxic Waste. Now, I only mentioned this one because there was 5 in each bag. It's a very off-brand, Walmart-y kind of sour product that I did not expect to see in there, but I was also really surprised to see as many as they did. The only thing I could think of is somebody was handing out sour candy at one house and just handing out handfuls, or maybe these were bagged at one point and the kids busted into the bags. I can't give you all the details here. Hershey's Kisses, individual Hershey's Kisses, 5-5. That's another one that I thought was a little odd until I realized there was an equal number and they must have been contained within another bag, or, there must have been a standard there is what I'm saying. Kisses, give me all the kisses, give me candy. I've lost, there it is. Okay, Haribo Gummy Bears 4-3, Lifesaver Gummies 2-1, Tootsie Rolls 1-3. That's usually one of those El Cheapos that people hand out. Although we were in a neighborhood that normally doesn't cheap out. There's usually full-size candy bars. This year, not so much though. I don't think there was any full-size unless the kids pocketed them before they got home. Lemon Heads 1-0. That's an odd one. Whoppers 1-10. I think there might have been some trading going on there too, because I can't explain any other way why one child would have 1 and the other would have 10, unless they saw it with Whoppers and they're like, no thanks, that's gross. Miscellaneous. Now, this category includes a lot of weird things like rings. I got a little heart. I didn't. One of the kids got a heart ornament with a Bible verse on it. Thanks a lot for that. And there was a bouncy ball, and you know the stuff you get, the random stuff on Halloween. And I also included in that number the very few candies, like a piece of taffy, saltwater taffy. I wasn't gonna count for all those little things. So that's where the miscellaneous that ends. Now we're moving into a different territory. No, we're not. Hang on, one more. Peanut butter Snickers are these squares, and they're super delicious, and they each got 2, but I don't think they're going to make it to the kids, at least not one of them. One of them is going to be down one, I'm pretty sure, before the sun is set. I shall eat a squared Snickers peanut butter filled delicious treat. Almond Joy 0-1, Baby Ruth 0-1, York Peppermint Patty 0-2, Warheads 1-2, and Reese's Pieces 0-1. Reese's Pieces, I didn't intend to leave that to the end, but all the onesies I left, and the ones that were worth mentioning, of course, I accounted for. The ones that I didn't, I slapped into the miscellaneous. A lot of them were individually wrapped butterscotch Thanks, Halloween, you jerk. Anywho, there are 3 here on the table that I want to try because I did not do reviews and demos for these. They're literally just the ghoulish green versions of Snickers and Twix. But the thing that fascinated me as I was going through the candies, I found one Kit Kat labeled Witch's Brew. Now, I don't know if there's anything different to this. I don't know if the color's different. I don't know if the flavor's different, but we're going to find out here today on the Vodkast post-Halloween special. So let's figure out what the most handed out candy was. Lollipops are definitely the most popular, followed up by Snickers, I would say. Miscellaneous is rather popular as well. Kit Kats are definitely up there. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are up there. So ultimately, I guess it comes down to Lollipops, Snickers, Kit Kat, Peanut Butter Cups, if I had to talk about the candies and not the miscellaneous stuff. So moving on from that, I really wish that footage had been filmed because I wanted to do a little time lapse, not a time lapse, like a speed up. Yeah, I guess a time lapse type deal. But instead, we'll take the time, but I guess if I really think about it, it would have been 17 or 40 minutes. I don't know how cut down it would have been. Probably would have had some voiceover work with it. And it would have been pretty boring, I think. So I think spending the time trying this ghoulish green Twix is time better spent. So let's try it, see if it's any better than a regular Twix. I haven't had a Twix in a while. It's a good candy bar. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got something like crunchy, but if you don't like nuts, it doesn't have any nuts. It's got caramel, which is just awesome. The texture of it adds a lot. A nice chocolate. We'll rate them all at the end. We'll see how they land on my scale on the post-Halloween special. Snickers. I imagine we're going to see the same thing here, so let's find out. It's interesting how similar in some ways these are. They're both chocolate covered. They both have caramel in them. One of them has nougat and peanuts. The other one has a wafer, like a cookie wafer in it. This hits in such a different way than this hits, though. This really struck me today, though. Snickers has always been one of my all-time favorite. And without further ado, let's bust into this Witch's Brew and see if there's anything unique, special about it, or if it was just repackaged. Oh, it is green. I'll tell you that. I picked a bad day to choose green as my background because everything on camera is green. I don't know. I guess maybe it was a good choice. I'm matching my colors. That's nice. You like that, right? Here we go. I didn't detect any other flavors on that. We could look it up and find out. Let's do that real quick. Are Witch's Brew Kit Kats a different flavor? Double, toil and trouble, unwrap a magical break with Kit Kat Witch's Brew white cream candy bars. These crisp wafers covered in marshmallow flavored cream. Hold on a second. I love marshmallow. Maybe I was missing something. Maybe my palate was tainted by the other 2 Halloween candies. I'm going to try this again. I love marshmallow flavored things, so I should have picked up on that. It definitely doesn't taste like chocolate. That's the only thing that I noticed the first time around. I was like, oh, maybe that's a little aged or something like that. But I could see where they were going with it. It just doesn't quite nail it. Very delicious, though. Being that 3 of my favorite candies anyway are here before me, I'd have to go with like maybe a 7.5 on the Twix, an 8 on the Snickers, and I'm going to go with an 8 on the Kit Kat as well. These are some of my favorite candies. They really can't do very wrong unless they change up the formula entirely. Like recently, Snickers has decided to do almonds and pecans inside there. I don't want harder nuts. I want less nuts. I guess if you want less nuts, you want a Milky Way or Well, I guess not a Three Musketeers, but definitely a Milky Way, because that has a lot less nuts, but everything else you're looking for in a Snickers bar. Anywho, I hope you guys had a wonderful Halloween. I don't know what you guys did. If you want to let me know in the comments below, perhaps we could have a chat about it. Either way, though, I hope you had a great night, whatever you did. And if you guys are loving the content that I'm creating as much as I love creating the content that you guys are watching, would you please consider subscribing to the channel, because it would be a huge help for me. Excellent. Thank you so much in advance. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. Don't forget to make somebody smile today and make yourself a better person tomorrow than you were today tomorrow. Let's make the world spin a little bit happier and a little bit more creepy. Ooh, together. Let's sing and dance in the sun and in the rain as one, my brothers and sisters. Live life to the fullest and love every moment of it, because you just never know when that last moment's going to come for you. However, never live in fear of that moment. Always live in love, but never let your inner child die. Take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and take care of those around you who cannot take care of themselves, for they are the ones that need it the most. And if no one has told you today that they love you, the Vodkast loves you very much, just the way you are. All right, guys, do no harm. I'm Geycen Oliveira. This is the Vodkast, and I'll catch you guys a little bit further on down the road to 50. And take care, my friends, and happy adventuring.
Don't go to sleep with a catch it in your pocket.